Noreen, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be preparing a recipe for a Sauerbraten style pot roast in the crock pot, and this is actually going to be my entry into a contest that Crock-Pot is having over on their Facebook page. And when they get it up and running, I'll give you a little more information about that. And let me get this out of the pan. I'm just browning off. This is about a 4-pound chuck roast that I had in my freezer that I need to cook. So I'm going to put it in my crock pot right there. Actually, I'm not. Actually, I'm going to leave it in the pan for a minute because I need to put some other things in the crock pot. But the pan is turned off. So let's come over here and I'll show you what's going in. We have a Sauerbraten style is what we're going to do. And the good folks at Crock-Pot sent me a sample of their new seasoning packets. And this was included in there. There was an herb chicken, a chili, barbecued pulled pork, a savory pot roast, a beef stroganoff, and a beef stew. I think that covers all of them. Mm-hmm. We used the herb chicken. It was really excellent. But I'm going to create a recipe that I can enter in this contest that they're having over on their website. And I will be giving you more information about that in another video. They were supposed to be opening it on the 26th, but they had some technical difficulties. So unfortunately, they had to postpone that. But in any case, I'm still going to do my video and then I'll enter it later. I don't have to enter the video. I just have to enter a written recipe and a photograph. But what I'm going to build here in my crock pot is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put, I have about 4 large stalks of celery, about a half a dozen organic carrots that have been scrubbed and just cut into pieces, and 1 large onion that I quartered, as well as there's 6 pretty small cloves of garlic here, but I would recommend 4 regular size cloves. They're just smashed, and I'm going to just toss them right in there. Kind of even it out, if you would, so that not everything is all in one spot, and that'll be great. All right, now I'm going to set this aside for just a minute because we want to build our flavor profile for our Sauerbraten, and I'm going to use this savory pot roast mix here, but I also need to add a little more to this flavor profile in order to call it Sauerbraten style, okay? Now, for those of you who know what Sauerbraten is, it is almost like a pickled meat. It's slow cooked, much like corned beef, only it has a little bit of a different flavor profile. It has warm spices in it, not just what when you corn a piece of meat, you have several different spices, but when you make a Sauerbraten, which is essentially the same thing, with a different cut of meat, and it's cooked a little bit differently. There are other things. It's traditionally German, and what we're going to use in this flavor profile along with this seasoning packet, and this is going to replace any beef bouillon that we might use, and there's some other seasonings in here, and salt. We are not adding salt to this because I'm sure there's plenty of salt in this packet. But we're going to use a tablespoon of pickling spice, about 3 to 4 allspice berries, 2 really good sized bay leaves. There's a couple of little baby ones in there. I have a teaspoon of ground clove. You can use whole cloves if you want to use 3 or 4 whole cloves. I have about a 1.5 inch piece of ginger that I cut into discs. I didn't bother to peel it because I'm putting it in the cheesecloth. I have 1/4 of a nutmeg nut that I just cut apart. I have about a half a teaspoon of mixed peppercorns and 1/4 cup of raisins. Now, if it were me, I would just throw the raisins in the pot with the vegetables, but I think Micah would not like that, so it's all right. We're just going to go ahead. The raisins are only here to enhance the flavor. What we're going to do is build a bouquet garni, which is nothing more than a little packet of spices. And this is just going to help season our broth without it getting in there. Because who wants to bite into a bay leaf or an allspice berry that's been, slow cooked? It's not very pleasant, let me tell you. Also, the peppercorns are going to be in here and they're going to flavor everything up, and I'm just going to tie this up with some kitchen string, and I'm going to pop it right in there. And you can use whole cloves. I couldn't find my whole cloves. They've gone AWOL. So what we have here is a cup of red wine vinegar, because Sauerbraten, you could guess from the name, is a sour-ish. It's like a pickle, you know, really. I'm going to add the seasoning packet in here, okay? And I'm going to grab a fork, and I'm just going to mix it in. If you read the back of the seasoning packet for the traditional slow-cooked pot roast, you use a cup of water in here, okay? I have a half a cup of brown sugar. I'm going to add that right in there. And that's when we start getting down to business. Let me trade places with Rick. Get this out of the way. Give it a wipe. You know. Let me grab my roast. Right down in there. Give this one last stir. Pour it over. Get all that goodness out of there. And since it's kind of late in the afternoon, I'm going to set this on high for 5 to 6 hours. And then we're going to check it. We're not going to remove the lid on this crock pot for the first 2 hours. We're going to try not to remove the lid at all, because when you open your crock pot, you reduce the amount of heat that's contained in there. So I'm going to set that on high. I'm going to pop this in the sleeve, and I'm going to walk away from it. When I start to smell it, I'm going to keep my family away from it, because they like to come over here and do this. Oh, that looks really good. I don't want them to do that. What I do want, though, here is to stick that little seasoning packet down in there. And don't worry if it looks like it doesn't have enough liquid. All of these things are going to release their liquid into the pot, all right? So it's all good. Just put the lid on it, walk away. When it's time to have dinner, we'll come back and we'll show you what this looks like. Okay, it has been 5.5 hours, and I have just unplugged it and moved it over so you can have better light to see this. It is delicious. We've tasted it. It's tender. It's perfectly cooked, and it's falling apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the meat out. Just so I can, you know, basically break it up. It doesn't need to be sliced or anything. This is the bouquet garni. We're going to discard that. Perfect. And there's all of our vegetables. You can thicken this if you like, or you can just serve it as a light gravy. Really, that's, I think, what we're going to do. And I've prepared some mashed potatoes. And let me fix you a plate. I'm going to move this out of the way.
So did you ever add any more liquid?
I did add about a half a cup of water early on, just to dissipate some of the vinegar that I put in there. But it's very rich and flavorful, and it goes along really well with that seasoning packet that we put in there. So let me fix you a plate here. Bring this over. This meat is just as tender as can be. It's just literally falling apart. It's really beautiful.
Tell me where the meat came from.
This is actually grass-fed beef from a local farm called New Haruka Farm, and this is delicious. It's fresh and it's local, and I love it. So, you know, when you can, that's what you should do, is you should try and get locally produced meat. And then I'm going to grab some of the veggies out of here. Some carrot and onion and celery. And there's some of those crushed up garlic cloves. I think that And then we'll put some of this sauce right over the top. There you go.
Time to eat.
It is time to eat. Beautifully cooked, very fragrant, and very delicious. This is a crock-pot Sauerbraten chuck roast that you are going to flip over and your family is going to love. And remember that we made it
Tammy's flipping.
with one of those crock-pot seasoning mixes for the slow-cooked pot roast. And that kind of took place of any bouillon or broth or stock that I would have used in here. And I can't be any happier with the way it turned out. It's absolutely fantastic. With those spices, making it a Sauerbraten, and the added addition of the vinegar and the sugar, it's going to be a fantastic meal. I'm really excited to eat. So, I hope I'm going to put a link down to the Crockpot Seasoning Mix's Facebook page, and you can keep track. I will also do a video when they're getting ready to do their contest, but this is my contest entry for that, and I encourage all of you to join in and enter a recipe as well. Who couldn't use $8,500 worth of groceries as a grand prize? A year's worth of groceries. Who can't use that? So I hope you try this. I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.